Good afternoon, everyone. Let's go ahead and hop right into things. I hope everybody is having a great day. We're just hopping right into things. While watching and reading this, you're saying you understand the following. I'm not a financial advisor, and this is not trading advice. This session is solely for educational purposes. There's significant financial risk associated with options trading, and I'm not liable for your wins or losses in the market if you decide to act on this information. All right, so look, let's just hop right into things. This is the order flow, options order flow, calls and puts. So the bullish and bearish order flow for options, right? So on Friday, the top call options flow went into, went into Tesla, Meta, ACN, Nvidia, and Citibank. I have to mention App Loving because I always go to top five, but they had App Loving right there, so I just had to throw it in there. And on the put side for Friday, the top put options flow went into Palantir, Google, Amazon, MSTR, and Google. So we have both Class A and Class C. For the week, the top call options flow went into MSTR, Meta, TSM, Apple, and Tesla. On the put side, we had the top flow going into FSLR, Coin, AMD, Microsoft, and EWZ. Okay, cool. One sec. Let's just move on. All right, so I'm jumping right into highlights really quickly. Now, I was gonna put this slide somewhere else but I just said, oh, we're gonna jump right into it before jumping into to the profits. I mean, that's what we're all here for, money, right? So let's just talk about it. So I just got a few highlights. It was too many to highlight, so I said I'm just gonna put a few on here and then we can scroll because it was just too many to put. But yeah, just had to put a few on here. We had this was a RH trade from 300 to like $5,100. We had a this was a QQQ trade for the team. This was like a $330 play that went to 540, sorry, $1,540. This was Tesla. This one went from 365 to $1,400. Now this move, we'll talk about this move, but we'll unpack this a little bit more in a little while later. But just shout out for that one. Another Tesla play here that I had to put on here. Another $1,000 contract went from 300 to $1,040. More RH 300 to 5960. This was a QQQ put that I put the whole team in from 250 to 1032 on this one. And this was the RH trade. No, this was App Lovin, I believe. Yeah, App Lovin from $100 to 1075. And the RH trade from 300 to 6150, so $6,150. So some phenomenal trades there, and there were several more. Oh damn, I know I had a third page of these, right? So yeah, just more trades. We had another App Loving trade. So yeah, we're gonna get to these in a second. We're gonna get to this in a second, but another App Loving trade. This was from 265 to 3950, $3,950. That was a $3,685 profit. And then there was a meta trade about that 290 to 2115. And then we had another App Loving trade from 112 to 1120. So $1,120. So $112 turned to $1,120. All he had to do was get on the stream and follow instructions, and the rest is history, and take profit in the morning. So that's how that went. But anyway, so we just I did an update. Now I was off like last week. We had it was a company holiday last week because we cleared almost $20,000 for the first quarter of 2025, and that's an amazing feat. So I said, we're gonna make this a company holiday, just take the whole week off, and yeah, so we that was a lot. It's a lot of money when you only buying one contract per trade alert and it's net profit. So that means you bought one contract and you subtract the losses from the wins, and that's what you had. So from January 2nd now to April 4th, and again, there were only two trades that I alerted to the whole team, and now we cleared that 20 bands. We have a total net profit of $20,816, and the average profit per trade is 163.91%, and with an ROI of 8,300% on the $250 membership for the year, and a 11.8K ROI on the 175 membership. So we crushing it here, so so we're just going to continue to run it up, continue to do what we do here, because that's what we do. Now I just want to go in. So like, here's just, so I know we go through this, but a lot of people don't ever look at the profits ledger. We got a channel in the chat that anybody, even the free members, can look at, that shows our profits for the last few years. But I kind of broke them up in years from just for the last 3 years. And you can see every single month, you can see every single trade, you can see the net profits from every single trade. So I got the wins and the losses for each month. You see in January, because someone said, is this something that they do all the time? Absolutely. Go back and look. And the trades aren't cherry picked. These are all of the trades, whether they're wins or losses, they're all on here. This is a net profit. So for the month of January, we cleared 4,600 for those who bought one contract per trade alert. For February, we cleared 8,400, so $8,493 for everyone who just grabbed one contract per trade alert. So that means every trade that I alert, that's why I'm gonna tell y'all something really quickly before I move on. So this means new people who want to start and are trying to get into this, like I tell y'all, like my advice is have at least $1,000 or something on standby. The reason I say that is because you never want to trade more than 20% of your total. I'm going to say at least 1,000. If you can have more, then have more. But I'm saying I wouldn't trade more than 20% of your total available cash to trade on any trade. So, because if you die, and we will die sometimes, then you have 4 lives left, and I'm not making the same mistake twice. I'm just going to add more margin to the next shot, and we're going to get it. So because everything is calculated around here, right? So if you follow my process and don't veer off at the end of every week and at the end of every month, you're going to have a net profit. Now, again, like I can't say, there hasn't been one month in the last few years that we haven't cleared more than 4,600, except for I think 2 months. And I think I was off or something like that. But none this year. And it was only 1 month last year. And that was in September. I took the whole month off. It was just, it was personal things going. Well, took the week off, a week and some time off. But outside of that, we clearing every month. We burning it down. We had the biggest year ever last year. And then we starting this year off to take out those profits. So if you follow this process the way it's lined up, you're going to make money and you're going to be successful. If you veer off and do your own thing, pressing buttons behind the scenes, then you won't, at the end of the day, you won't see it. Like I said, this is just February right here, 8,400. That's one contract per trade. This is a net profit. So if you take the losses from the wins, these are net profits, everything. So for March Madness, we burnt March Madness down too. We had this one's 6,100. Now, actually, I didn't do it in here because I know when we got off of here, I went and made some adjustments to this because there was a trade that was left off of this. I put the same trade twice on here, and it was a different meta trade. And then for the last day of the 31st, we made money too. So we ended up clearing 6,600 for the month of March, and that's updated in the profits ledger in the community. So like I said, everybody got access to that. I'll make sure I update this slide next month. And just to start off April right now, this is where we are, because like I said, it was a company holiday. but I still I came out of the cut. Well, I sent the note through KK to put the team in a trade. I think it was on Wednesday because I just could not let the team sit there and not participate in this one trade, right? And so that was QQQ. As you can see, this was a we turned the 250 into over it was a 464% profit on that, and the total profit on that was $1,160. You can see here for this call, this 250, that was a 100% loss on that one. You know what I mean? So that's a net profit. And then on Friday, I put y'all in the QQQ put, and that put started printing before the close. So I advised everyone to take profit on that and grab the higher strike or whatever. So that was 154 dollar profit on that. So our net profit for the week, the first week, and again, we only traded, I only called basically 2 trades on this one, and we still cleared $1,064 on this. So this just for the first week, and I only really worked like 1 week, 1 day, and the end of Friday on that. So you're still up on your membership for the month of April. Like I said, it's only going to get better and better. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is. That's just what we do. That's just what I do. That's what we're doing around here. Now I'm gonna show y'all. So I just created a new tab because we gotta start tracking this now. There's a lot of trades that don't go into our into the actual profits that I look in the chat because um the only trades that I'm keeping track of on our company ledger, profits ledger, just in case I'm audited by independent company or anything that, or the ones that are alerted in the chat that the way Discord set up, anything that you post in there, if it's edited, it'll show that it's edited. So we don't do no edits on posts or nothing like that. You can go back and you can research every single trade. You can see when it was alerted, all of that stuff. So that's why. But we got to separate. There's something else that's going on behind the scenes. And I forgot what I think we cleared over 23K for February in the tippers picks. But that's just like but yeah, but that wasn't televised, right? But yeah, so what I'm starting to do now is make a category for this. So I mean, because like people don't pay attention to what's going on behind the scenes, but just to show y'all, this is just for this past week. First time I'm doing this, and I'm just as a whole separate category. It has nothing to do with our profits ledger normally. But here we go. So for on April 2nd, the RH puts, they were $300 to get into. 1950%, right? 1950%. That was for 58.50 profit, right? You just look at it like that, right? So over like basically 6 bands for that particular trade. Now I just took the lower one and chose that. Now obviously you'll see, as you saw, some people cleared over $6,000 for the trade. I just, I'm gonna always go with the low. And here we go for App Loving, another one. And these are trades that if we got a tippers picks live stream. We were talking about a lot of these in the live stream that I'm going over now. We had the App Loving 255 put right here. It was $100 to get into that, 1,000% profit on that. We had App Loving the 260 puts. It was $200 to get in that, 575% profit on that was $1,150. And then on 4-3, this was it was a few of us on there in the tippers picks, and I was like a madman on there. And I didn't even include there was another one, there was a fourth one, a RH. I didn't include that one on here, the one that we went over in the tippers picks. It was a few other trades, but yeah, I just put 3 trades on there because I didn't want to go too crazy. Just give y'all a little preview of what be going on in the tippers picks. So $250 to get into this App Loving trade. Sorry, 255. It went to 1,400% on that. So that was a $3,500 profit on that one. Meta puts 515 puts 275 to get in that 630% profit. That was $1,700. The App Loving the 245. So it was other team members on there. I said, anybody need me to modify the strike, give y'all like a cheaper trade? Gave him this one, the 115 or whatever. 115 cost to get into it. Made over 900% profit on that for over $1,000 profit. So we cleared over 14K, 14 bands in 2 days in the tippers picks. So there's something to the tippers picks, right? So I'm just gonna let y'all know what's going on over there. So when y'all see us, y'all see a channel that you can't get into, there's a tippers picks channel, just something that we have just it's as we say here, the tippers picks. This was just for April. It's just 2 days. Bonus appreciation trades delivered a net profit of 14,337.50. And again, I ain't even include some trades, like I said, averaging over 2,300% profit per trade, right? And again, we just that's just something that we have another category. I'm going to start keeping track of it just because I just think those numbers are so astronomical. And if we kept track of them all last year, it's just crazy. So I'm going to keep track of them for now and on, because whether everyone's in those trades or not, they should be televised. Everybody should know about these numbers because they're just crazy numbers. And we've been blowing it out of the water. There's a lot going on. And then also, it's just like I know KK or Roman or Tyler or everybody that was on there on Thursday, going into Friday. It was just like I was zoned out like a madman on there, just putting them out there. You know what I mean? Because comfortable in the zone. I wasn't exposed to the whole team, so I could talk about more riskier things that I wouldn't talk about, and we was ready, locked in and loaded, and the rest is history. They shot the general and everything is over. So yeah, so just round of applause to everybody who participated in any of the trades, and just that's whether you're new, whether you've been here for a while, and that's ready to take down Q2. I'm ready. So let's go ahead and hop into market talk. KK, you want to start? You want to kick things off?
Sure. Um, Great week for me, clearly. I mean, you showing the tippers picks numbers, so they know what's popping around what we be doing. So, um, yeah, it was a great week. And but the crazy thing is that for me, those are great. Like we love those trades or whatever. But for me, it's honing my skills and making myself a better trader. And I think my best trade this week would have been the Tesla delivery numbers. And the reason is because, just we play these type of catalysts all the time. And, we're looking for, I think we've been taught, because we've been taught by the best, like we're looking for certain levels to be hit to understand, okay, now it's getting ready, this is where it can go now. And Tesla, it dropped, but for me, I was looking for it to clear 250. Like if it would have lost 250, I would have been like, all right, it's ready to cook now. In the puts direction. So when it did lose 250 before market open, I was like, okay, now my antennas are up. I'm watching, and now I'm going candle by candle. First 5 minutes, basically closing a doji. It was like, okay, so now I'm like, okay, now I'm watching the upside because I feel like it's not gonna do. I think this might be switching now. So it clears VWAP on the second candle. I'm like, okay, now I'm ready. Now I'm ready to shoot the general, as we would say. I'm ready to shoot the general now. And it gave me one more touch off of VWAP, and it took off, and I was in the trade right from then. So now we're kind of all watching Tesla because this was the trade, for that day. And Dante comes in and he posts the chart like, look, Tesla's in the gap. So, everything's now, in confluence with all of what I've been seeing. Now I have my teammates, we all watching, we're seeing the same thing. So it was like, okay, it's getting ready. I mean, Dante probably said that, and maybe 5 minutes later, Tesla broke out and took off, ran like $10 right from there. So I think for me, that was my best trade, to say, like, recognizing my setup early and taking advantage of the price. And I'm gonna pick those strikes. My teacher teach me how to pick those strikes. Like I'm basing it off the levels. Where do I think it can go? And what's gonna give me, I want the strike I picked to go on the money. I wanted to print. So yeah, I grabbed the 270. Rest is history. Y'all saw the contract.
She burnt it down. She burnt it down. And again, like I said, it's the thing for me though. Like I'm glad that you said what you said about the team, and just like, and shout out to the my the youngins in the group, because they be holding it down. They follow the
Yes.
process and they don't have no ego and nothing associated with it.
Right.
They just in here locked and loaded and ready to go. So I'm gonna show you what she's talking about here. After the Tesla delivery numbers and everything, he posted this chart at 11:06. Shout out to him. Like I'm look, how you see your kid walking across the stage, you like, oh yeah, that's my son, that's my kid, or
Right.
that's my student. That's my student. So I'm proud of all of the people that came up under me. Like I said, I ain't everywhere at one time, and I wasn't around for this. You know what I'm saying? And he came in there with that chart. What he say? Tesla new high day, but every chart tells a story. The gap was right here. The gap was right here, and as soon as Tesla, look at here's a bull flag. See, I love the chart, everything about the chart. When you train somebody and they really really understand what's going on, it's the rest is history. So this what happened. You can see here that Tesla broke out and started filling this gap. But here's the bullish flag right here. And he even had targets marked on the chat after the gap fill. And here's another target here. So look, here going another one of my snipers. Well, shout out to Jazz. She's bigging them up or whatever. Jazz, she come out there and she gonna give you, if she give it to you, she gonna give it to you good or bad. So, gotta love that. Look, here go Jason. Like he should call this up Jason Snipes, man, because he's a
Right.
sniper. Look, soon as that chart came, like the chart was posted at 11:09. He already locked in. Look, up 40%, up 60%, up 81%, up 95%. You know what I mean? My guy Max taking profit. I love it. Max know his level, and like the options trading Bible say, only drive as fast as you can see, as far as you can see. You ain't gonna don't drive into the fog and then you hit a turn and crash and burn. You know what I mean? He taking his profit, took that profit. Here we go, up 140%, up 150%. You know, we've been taught by the best, following the process. Sniper game. And let me see, hold up. It's going, yeah. So here go KK. She posted her contract. Look, turned that 365 into 1,000 something, and she bought it on that day. So you know what I mean. I had nothing to do with that trade. Up 200% on Tesla cars. Look, then she sent the tip. See, look, there we go. Look, so that's why we got that tippers picks thing. So like, I look. Let me go keep on moving, but I'm just going to breeze past it since we showed that channel and everything. Look, I want y'all to know the whole team up over 20.8K for the year, grabbing one contract per trade alert. So everybody eating, so but when I be getting cash apps like this and stuff like that randomly, of course I'm gonna send some extra. It might be my day off. I may be on a tennis court. I may come back and say, I'm gonna spin up a tippers picks live stream, and we're gonna go over and let me put them in some trades. Let me feed them. Do something extra for those, for those people who doing that. So when y'all see me doing that, don't feel some type of way. I'm everybody eating every week around here, but when you getting $500 tips randomly from people, you know what I mean? They already made their membership fees doing whatever. Everybody eating. Nobody, if you follow my process, everybody eating around here. This is what I do. Like I possess a special set of skills. When I was at T-Row, I was saying to myself, like, or just at any company, you got to think about how much they're paying you. And if a company paying you 100K to be there, right? I'm just gonna throw that number out there. Like they're paying you six figures to be there. How much return on investment are they making for you? You know what I'm saying? You are passive income, so they're making money. You're making them money. Like you ever worked for a temp agency before, and the temp agency give you, I'm just throwing a number out there, $15 an hour, but the actual parent company is paying them $25 an hour. The temp company got to make some money. There's a spread. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you got to think about there's somebody making some money off of you. But so the thing is like, so I possess a special set of skills, and I'm constantly honing because I'm forever a student of the game. I love what I do, and I'm gonna keep on tweaking it and keep on learning. And follow me. Follow me. Now, if you've ever been in a situation with me and we've been on Zoom, whether it's a live stream, whether it's a Zoom session during our market hours, or one of our regular sessions where we fox and price together, most of the time when I'm on Zoom for an extended amount of time is because we in a trade and the market is in turmoil. This is the time when my team really needs me, because anybody can make money when the market is going flushing, when flushing metals is in effect. even a caveman could make money. When the market is running up and we're getting to melt up, you know what I mean? Even a monkey could make money. So I tell my team all the time, look, I ain't do nothing special today. Even a monkey could have made money today. But what I love is when y'all need my help and we got to get on Zoom. And I'm like, look, man, I know you ain't sell that trade, right? Y'all, I'll come on there like, y'all scared? You know what I mean? Look, all right, so we waiting for this retest right here. We got that retest. Don't take profit. This is where, or don't get out of this trade. This is a good opportunity for you to buy right here. If you want to add to your position, do it right here. I'll just start, coaching or whatever. That's what I do. I'm gonna stand behind it and I'm gonna talk y'all through the worst times. That's when I live and that's when I really get the most out of what I do. Follow me. The numbers speak for themselves. There's no arrogance or nothing like that. This is the money speaks for itself. Just follow me and make your money. Run your account up first, learn the basics, ask questions about the trades, and then you'll have more confidence when you get into these plays. You'll be able to afford the better trades. Look, a shout out to Miss Marilyn. She came in here. She joined like around, it was like late night when she joined because I saw her in there like
Yes.
using the charts and everything, came in doing what she's supposed to do, hopped in the right trades. I have people that have been here for years and still struggle with strangles. She came in here, KK told her where the pin post was that she went and read it one time and followed and understood the assignment. You know what I mean? So shout out to her. And that's what it's all about. It's not that hard. It's not hard at all. And you just follow this. Don't fight the process. Just follow along and you're gonna make this money. So I want to pick up to where I left off, but we're gonna keep going. But yeah, like I said, so I'm receiving after she burnt that trade down, she just sent me a $500 tip randomly. So if I want to bless her with another play after I'd already blessed the whole team with a play, you know what I mean, or whatever, we up thousands of dollars on a week or on a month or whatever, like that's fine. You know what I mean? Like y'all, nobody should think that they should get the same things. I shouldn't be able to give her something extra because she just blessed me with a $500 tip. You know what I'm saying? You ever been on a live stream and those people be adding, sending those like blessing, like, oh, those little whatever, those little gifts or whatever that they give out or whatever, and then they get put up to the top or something like that. It's the same thing. And then look, so here we go. He burnt this trade down. He ain't just talking. Look at this trade. He turned $300 into $1,040. And this was that trade. Look, $245. I had nothing to do with this trade. This was because Dante posted that chart and he followed the price action, knew what to get in and did what he did. Look, 246% boss $1,000 contract, then just sent me a tip. You know what I'm saying? I ain't asked for that. You know what I'm saying? So there we go. And Miss Maryland came out showing love to the team. She just got here. I already knew I was going to alert a trade. I had to when I people don't understand. There'd be certain things that go through my mind, right? It'd be certain things that go through my mind when I see certain things. You know what I'm saying? And I already knew heading into the close, I was putting the team in the trade just off of the strength. I'm like, we got new members in here. One thing I like to do when I see a new member join, I'm like, oh, I gotta get them their money back, even if it was a day that I said I wasn't trading on. And y'all know, typically, I try to Mondays and Wednesdays are lower volume days. Mondays are indecision Mondays, and we got Wealth Wednesday. That's more of a choppy day where you're gonna get lower volume. So if I want to trade as less as possible, less is more, and shark infested waters. So, but when I see like a bunch of new members, like 2, 3 new members join, sometimes more, I'm like, you know what, I gotta get them their money back. That's my first thing I'm thinking about is getting them their money back. I don't want to owe nobody nothing. I want them to be here for free, everybody. So as soon as they come here, I want to get them their money back. Right. So looking for opportunities, but I'm like, all right, cool. We on a holiday, but I got something for the team. So I hit KK. I'm like, look, I know what I said, but this is what we're gonna do. Now I want to tell y'all a fun fact. Some of y'all been here for a while, but every single time that I told KK that no, I'm not gonna say I told KK. Every single time that KK alerted a trade into the chat for me or on my behalf, those trades ran like a bat out of hell. Like so, like we actually coming up on a year anniversary of one that I was in LA. She called me while I was at Warner Brothers Studio. I had to go into the bathroom to take her call because I knew she was calling me. She said Meta is retesting those key levels you were talking about. What you think about this trade or whatever. She gave me what she was thinking about. I said, oh, I love it. I said, put the whole team in it. You know what I mean? And I left. I ain't need nothing else from her. I just told her to put the whole team in it. the rest is history. It was a few other trades. Anytime I have her to do that, I was at Six Flags one day. She called me. It was about QQQ, and I was like, I need you to do this for me, KK. I said, I said, she kept trying to run strikes again with me, right? And I was about to get on the weakest ride at the park, the Batwing, right? And she said, trying to run strikes past me. And I said, nah, whatever strikes you alert to the team, I'm getting in it. I don't need to double check your work because I trained you to perfection. So I trust you. I can fall backwards and I know that I ain't got to worry about it. You're going to choose the right strikes and we're going to go into money, right? So if KK come out the cut and say a little birdie said and give y'all a play, take the trade. Just take the trade. Don't think twice. Just take the trade, And so yeah, so that's what she did on Wednesday. I mean on whatever. Yeah, I think it was Wednesday. Yeah, Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever. Yeah, and the rest is history as far as that. So we burnt that down. And but yeah, so like she said, but what the thing was, it was about the price action for that Tesla trade. And this is why. So that's why I tell people all the time when I'm telling y'all, because it's a lot of people in here, they'll take great trades, or like I get on, y'all don't hear it behind the scenes. I'll say something to KK, she'll tell me like, oh yeah, I did this. I like, oh yeah, I got in a Tesla. I'm like, you did what? She said, oh, I was doing this and I got it. And I said, well, why didn't you tell me about it? You know what I mean? Why you ain't put it in the chat so the whole team could have known about it and everybody could have made money off of that? Say it with your chest. Like I always say, like, it's a lot of people in here to be like, I can trade, or I'm a lot of if you did, I've done IT before. I used to do IT and coding and all types of stuff before, networking and stuff like that. So real deep in IT or just stuff like that. Dudes like that, I work with a lot of different people, and it's like a lot of cockiness in that, and that's cool. It's fun and it's competitive in that regard. And so I'm used to that. But don't bump heads with me when you're scared to say what you guys say in the chat, because I put my neck on the line every single day. You know what I mean? I'm gonna say what I gotta say. I'm gonna put y'all in the trade when the market is breaking down and it look like it's about to die, but I'm trusting my key levels and I'm putting the team in it. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm gonna follow my trade process every single time, and they be our biggest trade. So if you just in a small trade and you can't just say, look, I see Tesla retesting these levels, I'm getting in right here, then, because a lot of people can make money off of that. And then you may get out of the trade early, but my snipers may say something and keep you in that trade earlier. One of them may post a chart. I may see it and post a chart. I know KK gonna start talking that price down if she see it. Like I said, when Dante posted that chart, and then Jason Staggs came in there and was like, I'm up 20%, I'm up 30%. People jumped in that trade. And a lot of people made money off Tesla that day. It was the chart and the price action, and KK came in there. It was just a bunch of that. Sometimes you need that encouragement from your teams. That's what I created this community for. So if you see something, say something. Don't keep it to yourself. And then you post your profit, and I'm looking at it like, that was a great trade, but your entry could have been better, or you got out a little early. But if you shared it with the team, we could have guided you through that trade, and we all could have made some money too. So just think about it like that. But if you put your ego or your fragility before the profits, then we are not the same, and you cannot compete. Or I'm not saying the competition way. Don't think that we're in the same even realm, because I'm gonna always put my neck out there, because I don't. It's humbleness in trading. Look, I make mistakes. That's why everybody make mistakes. I'm not perfect. So, but if I was scared to make a mistake, then some of our biggest trades wouldn't happen. You just got to cut it if you made a mistake. Like fail fast and move on. So that's what we do around here. We're going to make money. We're going to fail fast and we're going to move on. Right. So that's all of us. We're going to learn and we're going to grow together. But let's just keep it moving. KK, did you want to say anything else about not just Tesla, but just like the week in
I
general?
thought you were. I mean, the week was just crazy. Like Antoine said, like he said, like he was going crazy on the live. But I'm used to this. Like when he gets to cooking, I love it. He gets in his zone, and we're just, I'm just there soaking up what he's talking about. And I think for me, I'm always trying to hear everything he's saying, because I want to think where that psychology is going. Like, this is why he's making these choices. These are the choices that he's making, not to compete, but to enhance my trading, because he's such a good trader. So I mean, like, app loving on going into that, that was one of the trades that he called on Thursday in the tippers picks. And you know, it was like, all right, this is what we're gonna do. He kept whenever Antoine keeps talking about a stock, like I already know, like, okay, he's gonna get in this stock. He did that with Meta on Thursday, but like he was like App Loving was the trade. That was the one he was really focused on. And my goodness, like that was super crazy. Like, but and I think we made out on that two times this week, right? Like
Yeah,
two big
like
ones this week.
big two. It's like, yeah,
And you know, the first one was the tariff one. That was a crazy move. But then the Lotto Friday one was like, oh my God. Like I'm between those 2 days, I made over 12 bands. Like it's crazy. Like this week was off the chain. I can't even really, you know, that gap right there. Oh my God. Like when like the way this we were not, he had been foxing all day. Like I've been talking to him off and on. He was talking about App Loving the whole day. So I knew that was gonna be one of the trades. But then he brought up Meta, and he kept talking about it, kept referencing it, was like, but I'm looking at this and I'm like, look, what's up with Meta? Like you keep saying it, like, what's up? He's like, all right, well, these are the strikes I'm thinking about. Okay, let's talk about that. And then I mean that trade went bonkers, like 20, $30 drops on both of the stocks, like easy. And we were in it. That's all I know. We were in it. And that was like I said, a lot of money in a couple days. Minus my tips. Crazy.
yeah. So no, like I said, I wanna the energy. I will say shout out to the whole team though, man, because like the energy on Friday, right? Friday morning, like no matter where it came from, that's what I want. Like sometimes I want y'all to know something too. Sometimes I'm a coach, man. I'm a coach, so sometimes I know what some of my traders can do, even sometimes when they don't see it, because I notice everything. You know what I mean? So sometimes I may do something just to get you to react, just to get you out of your head and make you focus. I may, like I told KK like before, I said, man, you should be more like Jazz. I just was, it was just I was saying it, I was being funny, but I said it to her personally. But I didn't say it in a way, like I said it in another way, man. This the way she locked in and did what she did. So I may say something to you like, oh yeah, you don't know how to read charts, and then next thing you know, it's going to turn into a big trade, and show me, solidify it. I'm gonna push you. I'm gonna push you to get out of your head so you can make some money, and we can make some money. Because the more I got, like I said, if KK, she's telling me like, man, don't forget about this trade. Remember you said this, or are we still doing RH? I'm like, oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, remember. So we on Zoom, well on the tippers picks. And this isn't the RH, the $6,000 play. This is the day after that. I mean, the night, yeah, the day after that. So that was one of the first trades. So I ended up getting in that too. But and we talked about the strikes, that went deep into the money and stuff like that. But it's just like having other team members on deck who know how to do certain things. Like shout out. The reason I went into this conversation is I saw we had Potato Trader on here. Now, Potato Trader, one of those traders where, he has a style of trading. He's great at scalping. That's why when people say that, oh, I'm a scalper, I'm this, I just be like, I shake my head and just I'm very apprehensive when people say that, because scalping takes a very special set of skills to be able to do it, and you have to trade the personality that you really have, and Potato Trader, he posts his charts are in confluence with his style of trading, and he's really good at it. So, and we used to get on Zoom and be on there for hours bouncing ideas. And when Potato Trader is driving and he pulls over, you know what I mean, you already know the vibes. He pulling over, right? And we
Yo, the
bouncing ideas
vibes.
off. It's certain things that he's watching that I'm not watching, and certain things that he may see that I'm not seeing, and we putting these things together, we watching each other's back. So it's not like, oh yeah, well, I'm this and I'm that and I know everything, man. If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. So I'm trying to build other people, because like I said, KK can choose the strikes when I'm not around, and I won't even question them because she has a special set of skills. But I know she know all of the basics and all of the nuances that I need her to know for me to trust her. But she's going to put her spin on it and do it her own way. You can't put your spin on it until you learn support and resistance. You have to learn how to add and subtract first. Support and resistance is the adding and subtracting of options trading or just trading in general. And it's like just because like people say oh, I know how to play chess, but just because you know how the pieces move, that don't mean you have a strategy. You know what I'm saying? Knowing how the pieces move, knowing that support means this and resistance means this, that don't mean you understand support and resistance and you know how to read and analyze price action and market structure, right? So once you do, then you'll know how to problem solve. And I always say this, but I'm gonna repeat it again. It's because it's easy to like, okay, I got this textbook and it got all of the mathematics in it. So it starts with adding and subtracting, then it goes to multiplication, then fractions and division, and so on. Some people, they want to just rush through the book so they can get up to multiplication and fractions where in division where the was multiplication, then division, then fractions, whatever. They want to get up there where the big kids at. So they hear people saying, "Oh, 9 times 9 is 81," or they see people hearing people say, this is that, or 3 times 3 is 9. Like, and they start repeating these things, but they don't know how they got to the answer. So now when you out there in the field and the market ain't just going in one direction, and it's like, damn, Jimmy had 5 apples and he gave Susie 2. How many do he have left? And because you never learned adding and subtracting because you skipped it, you wanted to rush through real quick. You don't know how to add and subtract. So you don't know where you jumping in a trade in no man's land, and you may have made a profit this time, but the next time it don't work. So now you're scared to get into the next trade because the last time you got clapped, but that's because you bought at no man's land because you really didn't understand support and resistance. So you got to start from the bottom. So when I see people doing this, I call them out on it because I want you to start from the bottom because I want you to be successful. So then I can trust you. You can't tell me nothing if I know you don't understand support and resistance. I don't want to hear it because you don't respect the fundamentals of the game first. You can't know this. You can't skip that part. You have to make sure you master it first. So no matter whoever you are on this call or whatever, if you really don't master that, like for example, the Tesla trade for the delivery numbers, there was some volatility with that trade and everything. It didn't play out right away like it typically does. We in a different situation, different regime. Everything is different right now. And some things you have to, some plays you have to work through. But knowing, like KK, she said, well, Tesla didn't lose 250 yet. So I know that this is where the support is right here. As long as it holds up above here, and then she broke it down. She did surgery on that daily candle, went down to and did surgery on the session hourly. We're still in the first few minutes of the market, so of course we're gonna do surgery on that session hourly candle and go down to a 5-minute chart so we can see what's cooking in there because we need an earlier signal. And she started reading that price action earlier and did exactly what needed to be done. But if you don't know how to problem solve, then you can't do that. You're just like a deer in headlights. You waiting for somebody to tell you what to do. And then just asking, is it too late to get into this trade? Is it too late to get into this trade? That's not the right question. You want to know where the targets are. You want to know where support is. You want to know what setup is it? Like a few weeks ago, there was a trade. I think it was a Tesla trade. I'm not sure, but J Rock posted a chart and he was like, "Oh yeah, I bought right here when it retested this level." I'm like, "That's what I needed to see." So I know my snipers understand exactly where what I was looking at. The first thing you should do, now obviously everybody can't do this because they may be at work or whatever, but we use TradingView around here. Shout out to TradingView. I don't get paid for that or anything like that. I mean, there is an affiliate link in the group somewhere, but that's like 3 years old and I don't know where it is. But the whole point is we use TradingView around here. And the reason I like TradingView is because if you configure your charts a certain way, if you open it on your phone or your iPad or whatever you're using, you can flip it to the side and it's going to look just like your charts. You know what I'm saying? And it's going to, you can analyze everything you need to analyze the way you would on your screen. So if I call out a trade, the first thing you should be doing before you jump in that trade is look and see if you can figure out what it was or why. I mean, I'm not saying that you shouldn't get into the trade, but you still want to know where you're going, yeah, it's like driving at night or without no GPS. You don't know where you're going. You just jump in and just start driving, right? So, but yeah, we got other people in the community who I like to bounce ideas off of, get there with what they're doing, help me watch my back. So if you think you're one of those types of people, you want to be somebody that add value, again, you got to get to that level. You got to get to those levels and make sure that That's what it is. Because and just be respectful. It's all about emotional intelligence is important. Again, I'm not trying to be condescending, and I'm not trying to preach today, but I want what we had on Friday. I want a continuation of that. So I want y'all to understand the culture around here. If you're new to this community and you come into the community and you don't start with the start here, you're going to be confused. And when you don't start with the start here, it's gonna, and you come in a room and you start asking questions about basic stuff like where the trades get called out. People are gonna get they're gonna feel some type of way. And some people will say, well, why? I'm like, look, I went to a concert the other night and there was so much traffic coming off the highway just to get into the parking lot. And there was people who, after we waited in that line in traffic for like 15, 20 minutes. It was people who got off the highway and thought they were going to come speed and get back and just cut and get in front of us. I mean, that's the same feeling that you get when somebody walk in the community and didn't even read the start here first. Now they want to ask you in the middle of a trade, you Fox and price action, and you in $1 million trade that got to be executed in the next 30 seconds, and somebody asks you a basic question. You may answer it for them, but you're going to be short probably because you stressed out. You may be in a trade or you focused, and you just got to consider those things when you're maneuvering around. So just try to go in and follow the process. We revamped it again to make it even easier for new people. And so, we're gonna keep revamping it as we get more solutions as opposed to just complaints and stuff. We're gonna keep revamping and making things easier. So but yeah, I just want everybody to be able to follow along and make money with us, and let's just continue to move. And on Friday, it was a great day and the energy was good. Look, so even though a lot of people weren't in the trades with us, the other trades with us heading into Lotto Friday, a lot of the snipers, they were in there the night before talking about App Loving and where it was going and where it was headed. And then that morning, the other snipers were in there talking it down or whatever. So then you had, I'm just gonna say shout out to to Curly Does It, shout out to to Taylor, and shout out to a few of y'all jumped in those trades, like got into those trades. And yeah, those stocks were already going down or whatever, but it was where they got in at and how much and how they burnt those trades down that I really shout out to Solo Dolo, for the Meta trade, how he got into Meta that day after, and Tesla, and like I said, I think that was during that situation when he put what's the name when Dante posted that chart, and it's just like when that type of energy is going on in the chat, it's like we out here and we locked in, and you need that type of motivation and that camaraderie and everything that kind of you can make more money doing that. So that's the energy I'm looking for. Like even on my off days or when I say I ain't around, when I get that type of energy, I'm coming out because all I want to do all day, the type of person I am, all I want to do all day is talk about stocks and talk about options and talk about price action all day long. I can do it until I'm hoarse, right? All day long. But if the chat is giving that energy up, that's what we doing, right? So just keep that in mind. That's how y'all can bring me out like that, and I'm out there. But let's just hop into this economic data really quickly, and then we can go into these charts. And because I don't have a lot of charts, I told myself, I said, I'm not doing a lot of charts this week. I'm gonna do the charts that we focused on because it's some big volatility that's going on this week, man. We got some big things going on in the market, and that's because of all of the uncertainty right now. There's a lot of uncertainty in the market, and that's because obviously why with the tariff situation, but it's like now we got all of these death crosses on major indices, and it's just like the last time we had something like this, the VIX spiked. The last time the VIX spiked like this was I think it was August of last year, and so it's just a lot going on. So yeah, so we're in position. We're in position. I'm looking for some nice moves to happen, but I want to concentrate my forces and focus on a few charts. So that's all I'm gonna do for this meeting. But yeah, we got some Fed speakers now. Last thing about that though, so we go over this stuff all the time, and it's because you just want to make sure you are aware of what's going on in the market, so you're not caught blindsided or blindsided when there's some turmoil or volatility unexpected in the market. So we got Kugler speaking Monday at 10:30 a.m. We got Daly. They sending her out there at Tuesday at 2 p.m. Watch out for her because she likes to shake the market up a little bit. Opinions are very controversial and just like sometimes speaks out of turn and goes against what Powell says at times. So watch out for Daly speaking at 2 p.m. So just keep an eye out for her. We got Barkin speaking Wednesday at 11 a.m. We got Logan Thursday at 9:30 a.m. Bowman Thursday at 10 a.m. Goolsby, watch out for Goolsby also Thursday at noon. We got Harker speaking Thursday at noon as well. Musalam Friday at 10 a.m. And we got Williams Friday at 11 a.m. So we got a lot of Fed speakers this week. But like I said, watch out for Daly the most and Goolsby. As far as economic data, we got the Fed minutes. Okay, so look, so we got the FOMC minutes from the last FOMC meeting coming out Wednesday at 2 p.m. And remember, so this last FOMC meeting that we had, we got the dot plot, so we got the forecast into the next quarter and for the rest of the year, right? So there's a lot of things that are unspoken that they talk about because the FOMC meeting is a 2-day meeting, 8-hour 2-day meeting, and 6-hour 2-day meeting. And then, Fed come out the end of day 2, gives the Fed decision, and then we, so on and so on. But so we got the minutes from that meeting. Someone's taking minutes, and so all of that is released, and it creates volatility in the market because there are things that aren't spoken of that get released in those minutes that, the algos read and it goes crazy, right? So then we got CPI on Thursday. We got CP. Look how they change things around right now. So there's some stuff going on right now in the market, right? So we got CPI Thursday, and we got jobless claims on Thursday, and we got PPI on Friday, consumer sentiment on Friday, right? So this, I felt like we just had CPI and we got it again. So we got some economic events that are happening that can create a lot of volatility in the market. And so we will see, what inflation is doing right now. But again, obviously we got this tariff situation, inflation, CPI is a lagging indicator. So, we'll see what's going on, but it's a lot going on. And again, I'm looking forward to it. So let's just see exactly what happens and go from there. Let me just hop into these charts that we have. So yeah, I guess I'm going to start with QQQ weekly chart. So this is our QQQ weekly chart. Yeah, we got a lot of volatility. The market sold off for the week. Remember last meeting that we had, I was telling y'all, I said, we got this consolidation cluster right here, which was a bearish flag here. I said, so, it was at the bottom of this area. And I'm like, look, that doesn't necessarily mean just because it's at the bottom that it's going to break out right now. It could have gone back up here and played around here. We've been lost the 200 EMA, and the non-EMA was coming down here. It came back up, it was retesting that and not really holding on to that, right? It was rejecting it. But we had a bearish flag right here. I call these consolidation clusters. So you know a bearish flag, how that works. Here's the flagpole. We talked about this last week. And you see what happened, what price did on Wednesday. It came down here. Just said we closed. We went back up and retested the non-EMA, rejected the hell out of it, and closed just below it. And then after the market closed, Trump came out with the tariff talk. And then I feel strategically, for the first 15 minutes after the close, the market was running like a bat out of hell. But then he unleashed he had some of the tariffs we already knew about, but when all the other countries came out, that we were putting tariffs, hitting with tariffs, then the market started to die. You see, we got this gap down, we got a continuation right here. So nice bear flag play out, but we saw this coming. We talked about it last week. So let me go back to the weekly. So during all of the turmoil, everything that's going on in the market right now, everybody's expecting for SPY to make a continuation, QQQ, just the market, the NASDAQ to make a continuation and go down to the next levels, stuff like that. I think, yeah, you can see here, I gotta let me turn on the so you can see we got the def cross and all of this happening on a lot of these charts. A lot of them got they def crossing and everything. So go back to the weekly, but it's a lot of noise going on. It's always noise, but you got to zoom out sometimes. When in doubt, zoom out and see exactly what the story of the chart is telling. And we just got a story that's being told here. Nice key levels that are being hit and retested right now. So me, I like to take chances like that. I mean, like I said, obviously you gotta be smart in a situation like this because again, if this is contingent on what Trump decides to do, also, it's a lot of economic um components, macro one second. There we go. So we got a lot going on with this market, right? But I like to pay attention to stuff like this where bulls came in and saved it. You got to pay attention to these demand zones and stuff like that. You got to. And so it's a nice possibility that we could bounce right here. There's a possibility that we bounce right here. So I mean, yeah, we know that the Treasury Secretary uh, said basically to there's no reason to anticipate a recession based on the tariffs, right? That's what was said. That's what was said. So, but then we had the U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard came out and said that we're not postponing those tariffs that are coming. The April 9th tariffs are coming, right? So I don't know. We're gonna see how the Asian futures market opens tonight and see what happens as far as that goes, and we can kind of base things off of that. But I mean, if things are a little mild or whatever, a lot of smart investors, people with money, they are coming in and they're like, oh yeah, we got a lot of downside left if this doesn't hold. If this doesn't hold, then it gets ugly, obviously. And then you saw that bear flag on the daily, it looked like it has more room to go. It could, right? But you can clearly see if I go here to this monthly chart, this makes it even clearer what I just showed y'all. You know what I'm saying? So we can get a nice bounce right here, but I'm gonna show y'all another chart. I gotta show y'all this other chart. It's very important. I gotta show it to y'all. One second, because you can't ignore what's really there. It may not happen tomorrow, but you still have to pay attention to what's going on. Let me show y'all SPY, 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 weekly chart. Look at this. Same thing. So, man, so hold on one second.
I think your audio went out.
Yeah, no, my audio didn't go out. I didn't say anything.
Oh, my bad. Cool.
Yeah, so I just hold on one second. I was pulling my words up. Just look at where it's just a lot of things that can happen here. Maybe not, but you just gotta look at what actually happened here on this weekly chart for SPY. And so we holding this level here. If we're holding this level, that's one thing. But these are our 2022 highs. And so let's see if we actually come back and retest these levels here. Obviously we got a few levels we can hit en route to there, right? We might come right here and hit the 2024, these areas here. There's a few levels, but just looking at the chart and the way things set up, it can really break down. But look, that's if we lose this area here. And I mean, this is looking a little bit more like ready to go than QQQ. Like certain levels already been broken on SPY, so it just doesn't look good right now. It doesn't look good right now. Obviously, there are pulses and waves in the market, so we can get a little maybe a dead cat bounce or something like that, or just based off of the whole tariff stuff. If Trump says, okay, we're gonna be cool with these 10% tariffs right now and defer everything else for a little while while we make a deal. If that happens, then that'll kind of slow things down a little bit. I mean, but some people are already ready to buy, but you cannot ignore these signs. You cannot ignore what's going on in the market also when these structures get broken, again, like technicals aren't everything, but at the same time, how we like to do, we like to wait until things happen and then play whatever the price action gives us, right? So we're gonna see that. I mean, I do believe that we are gonna get a huge move overnight and in the market. So we will see how things play out. And so yeah, but that's just something that I wanted to make sure I showed y'all because it's important. Now, this is IWM, the ETF that tracks the Russell 2000, the small cap stocks. And look how this is breaking down here. Let me just go to the monthly on this one too. You see, so we already got certain things happening on certain charts, came down here, retested and bounced a little. But I mean, like I said, there's a lot of room where this could go if, but yeah, you still gotta, I just be paying attention to everything that's going on. Hold on one second.
Hey, Antoine. Oh, hello? There we
Yeah,
go.
Kevin,
Yeah. When you get the chance, can we go back to the Spy Weekly?
sure. So,
Thanks. Also, hi. Glad to be here.
glad to have you. Glad to have you. So, yeah, so we back to spot. You said the weekly, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. Let me just clear. I'm gonna clean this chart up because again, it's just a lot going on in the charts. I'm gonna take it off for a minute. All right.
All right. So what I was looking at was on the weekly. There's a low that was made back on 10/13/2022, and that low connects well with the low of 10/27/2023. And if you extend that line out, it actually gets pretty darn close to where we currently are.
You said 10/20/2022.
Hmm. It was let me see. It's 10, sorry, actually it's 10/12/2022. That's what it's looking at. Let me zoom in here on my chart really quick.
Oh, you
It's
said 2022, 2022. I made it wrong. Yeah.
okay, no, it's 10/13/2022. Now that I zoomed in.
You said a low.
Yep, there's a low there. Why do I see it on my chart?
You said a
I'm trying
low
to,
there. Just hold on one second before I go. So you said it's a low that we're very close to.
it's not that we're very close to that low. I connected that low to like basically it's a long trend line for lows
Let
on
me
the
just go.
weekly
Let me
chart.
go to my clean chart for a second. I'm gonna go to my clean chart. So if I go to my clean chart, I know why I ain't got. I can put levels on it without worrying about those other levels popping up. So hold on one second.
Yeah, for sure. So let me see if I can see that same chart, same bar on your chart.
Second. You said so. In 20
It's
October
10, yeah, it's October 13th of 2022.
12th.
I have
Oh, you look.
October
Yeah,
13th.
because you did say you said a weekly chart. So if I'm doing a weekly, it's not going to show the 13th. So you did say the weekly. So it's going like we got the 10th and then we got the 17th.
Oh, okay. Now I see. Now I see. No, it's
Because the 200 moving average is right. The 200 EMA is right there too. So
yeah, let me go
so
back
just give the
because
price level. Just give the price level. So what price level is it? Like three what?
all right. So actually, no, I was looking at the daily, but it's from 10/13 to like
What's the price level?
10/27.
What price is it?
The price level was that's a low of 348.11.
Oh, okay. So yeah, so 348. So all right. So you said that's lining up to like where we are now?
Yeah, so like if and actually it's on the daily. It's not on the weekly. It's on the daily chart. But it's 10,
All right, so
13,
I'm just gonna
22,
put 340. So it don't because we're just going like you said 340 what? 340.
348.11.
All right, so 348. I'm just put like 348 or something out here. All right, so I'm just saying, so okay, so you said line like so I'm trying to figure out the lineup with right now. Yeah, that's a long way down. We got a lot of traffic lights before we get to
It
something like that.
is, but it's a trend line that I'm looking at.
Oh, okay. Okay, see, all right. So that's what I'm looking for. Okay, a
Yeah,
trend line.
so connect the
Gotcha.
lows.
Gotcha. Trend line. Gotcha. Okay. Trend line. I see that too. Why you didn't just say trend line? Confusing me.
My bad, my bad. But I was looking at that. We're actually
I
pretty
like that.
close to tapping that.
I like that. I like that. See, that's what I'm talking about. I like stuff like that. So we got that. Yeah, I mean on the I think I had put one on a weekly before we switched the chart.
Oh,
Where was it? But yeah, but I like that. I like that because that lines up perfectly. I like when there's some it makes some sense of it because it lost because QQQ hadn't lost certain key levels, but the fact that
Mhm.
SPY lost certain key levels, but it's holding up a trend, it's respecting a certain trend level. Okay, there's still an area where a bounce could actually happen. So and then when you zoom out, it makes it even cleaner going to see. That's why I always zoom out because it's so much noise on the daily chart or whatever time frame I'm looking at. I can
Mhm.
zoom out and I can see a lot clearer. So yeah, no, that's cool
Yep. And
because
now actually, yeah, now I see that it actually does line up well on the weekly.
yeah, so we kind of getting this little broadening formation here too. So
That's
that's
exactly what I got
perfect.
on my chart.
Yeah, so that's actually cool. And yeah, no, that's great. That's great. That looks great. Because that'll be a nice place where we can actually get some relief. So I mean, that still kind of gives us a little more room down. And but yeah, so if we were to break out of that, then obviously we got
Yep.
more lows to go. This month just started, this month just started, and we're already, yeah, that kind of lines up. I mean, 500 is psychological too. And you see, getting close to that 500. So
Yep.
we hit that 502 in the after hours. So yeah, I mean, look, I'm all for a bounce, man. I feel like it's time for a bounce, but what we'll do is we'll see key levels and we'll wait for if those key levels break, then we already know what we got going on. If they hold, then we already know what we should be doing based off of that alone. So you see what I'm saying though? Like I said, I wasn't looking at that trend and Potato Trader came in and and provided some data. So yeah, and that's what we be looking for, something like that, and to kind of give us more insight or just options into what's going on. Because again, like I said, everything cannot be seen. I'm not seeing everything at one time. So yeah, so no, that's good. I like the way, but like I said, we just right now we looking at these charts in totality. We looking at them the way we looking at them because again, right now we in a volatile situation, and I'm just looking for like where price could possibly be headed. I'm going back to my other chart for Meta. I already got it marked up. I'll try to see I posted this in the chat just so y'all can understand what was going on. But yeah, so Meta's right back down here, hovering around 500 also. Like we just talked about this as far as QQQ went, so yeah, it just looked like a good place. And then when I was showing y'all the flow for the Friday and for the week, as you can see, Meta was up there. They was like, so wow, everybody's selling off and panicking. There's a lot of people buying Meta and at these key levels it's likely to bounce. Now again, like I like situations like this because it makes it easy. Me, I'm gonna take a chance. I'm gonna bet on where I think things can go at any time. But it's just one of those situations. Yeah. And so I like Meta right here. I think this could be a good place to bounce, but if we lose this level, there's a lot of downside left. So obviously there's a lot we can unpack about this chart. But Meta finished with a doji candle. as you can see there, but it's still, you can see it bounce off these levels. But we got some places where we can go if we lose those levels, and we will keep an eye on it. I mean, and there's some places obviously we can go if we were to go higher on this. But again, I just like right now I'm looking at setups and I'm looking at these charts because, like I said, we're in trades. I'm waiting to see what type of move we get overnight, and we can kind of make our moves according to what we get. Go to Tesla for a second here. I need a clean Tesla chart. I'm gonna go to a clean Tesla chart because of the fact that no, I'm cool. Yeah, I'm gonna go to a clean one for a second. No, I'm cool here because I don't want to write on a clean one. But y'all can see this nice, beautiful bear flag here for Tesla. Hold on, let me just move this here. So how can a bear flag be beautiful? We got a death cross happening here. Let me actually just put in, I want to see something for a second. What's that? 288. I just want to see something for a second. It's not quite good. So Tesla didn't quite have that depth cross happening yet. And but yeah, we got this bear flag right here. What you see, like we got a nice little trend here. Is right now was at the bottom of the trend. It could bounce here and make a move back up first. We did get a 222, a 212 reverse, a 312 reversal. Sorry, here on Tesla, but it's right here at the bottom of this trend. We break out of here, and then we got a nice move down here for Tesla. But you see this bear flag. So in the perfect world, Tesla holds up here for a while. But if we get flushing, if we flush on Monday and Tesla breaks these levels, you see we got a lot of levels and a long way down that we can go for this on the chart. So again, like we in a situation, and you can see here's the monthly chart that we talked about a few weeks ago. You know what I mean? But when it's time, it's time. Right now, we're still inside on the monthly. And so Tesla wasn't giving that vibe that it was ready for it to make that plunge yet. But we'll know when we know, we'll know, you know. And here's the weekly right here. So we still got that bear flag setting up on the weekly as well with a 222 reversal. So let's just see exactly whatever the price action give is what we're gonna play. Everything is setting up bearish, but I'm gonna see like that's where pivots come from, from the lows or from the highs, and we just gonna see exactly what happens. Or sometimes there's a catalyst, so we just gonna wait and see. And then we got like earnings season obviously is a catalyst, but we got a lot going on. We got CPI, PPI. This stuff is more important. There's a lot happening, for this upcoming week. So again, just and in turmoil situations like this, and where stocks are breaking down, we got a lot happening. We just want to make sure that we following the price action. Again, I know we went over AppLovin already, but we didn't really go through it. You see, AppLovin finally lost its 200 moving average, and it closed under it, and we're currently in a gap fill. We're going to see what happens here if we get a continuation. The volume was strong, pretty convincing. We got two red oscillator bars, and the signal line is the MACD line crossed below the signal line. We got a lot going on here, so we could possibly get a huge move on AppLovin, and yeah. So we'll just have to see how things play out. It's just the chart is telling the story, and it looked like it wants to go lower. Then we can get a nice little bounce off of some good news or whatever like that. But remember, there was a lot of bad news going on with AppLovin and stuff like that. So it's a lot of selling pressure that was happening with it. So people still selling. But right now, again, all of these stocks are on sale. I think it would be nice to fill this gap first and go right back down here to that earnings gap. That would be a nice place for it to retest first, and then we could go from there. But again, we got to see what happens, and we'll play it accordingly. But yeah, that's all I'm looking at. They're the main charts that I'm looking at for this week for right now. We'll play it accordingly. But like I said, if everything plays out Monday according to plan, then I plan on now. Again, we're gonna obviously follow the price action, and we're gonna zone out with the market and take advantage of what we get. But if things go according to plan tomorrow, I'm looking forward to Thursday, more forward to Thursday. I mean, Wednesday hitting in Thursday, something like that with our catalyst and stuff like that. But again, that's all I have for today. I know we went over. Right now, like I said, we're in a strange situation. We're gonna play it accordingly. We're gonna lock in and let's just make this money, man. Let's make this a big week and let's try to start off this quarter, continue the momentum we got heading into we'll start at the start of this Q2. Thank y'all for hopping on.
Thank you
Enjoy the
so
rest of your
much.
day. Cheers.
Thanks, Anton.
Thank you.
Thanks for the meeting.
All right, brother. Thank you.
No problem.
Yeah,
Thanks for
bro.
hopping on, Kevin.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Coach.
your help.
Yeah, no problem.
You better hop on the stream with us too, man.
I know. I'm gonna try to make one of these streams. Maybe next. Well, this coming up week. Shoot, there was actually something I wanted to ask you about before the meeting ended, but I don't know if you want to hear about it now.
Man, so look, so if it's about UV, I mean in UV, I mean what is it? In UV
UVXY.
Yeah, ask me in the chat. Look, ask me in the chat, man.
Alright,
We
for
can
sure.
talk about it because that is your stock, man. It's so crazy. I was watching the VIX like crazy, and I remember you used to make a whole lot of money off that UVXY. And this is one of them times where it could possibly be in play. So yeah, let's talk about it. All right.
Yes, sir. Because it has been moving, but I'm